Good evening and welcome to ONN. Yes, this is Smart Mado Ajaja, the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa United and the anchor of Nigeria Now at Channel 1 on ONN. It is 5:54 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Houston, Texas, United States of America. That's 6:54 Eastern Standard. And 454, 354 Pacific here in the United States of America. How are you guys doing? Yeah, it's another show time at ONN. I hope everybody is doing well and having a great weekend. And we welcome our new entrant. If you are just joining us, please, click like and share. There's a guy who says that click like and share. we use it to do some kind of fun thing. Click like and share. All right, if you just joining us, click like and share, and be ready for something new on the discussion that we have here every week. Today we're going to be looking at what colonial mentality has done to the African leadership. It has become a serious, very embarrassing issue that needs to be heard by Africans. So we'll begin to adjust ourselves because this is really disgusting and embarrassing after many hundreds of years of being through subservience. And in the 21st century, African leaders are still demonstrating the worst form of subservience here, even as leaders of nations, states, even if the independence that we have kind of a Greek gift of independence. All right, let's go.
But something is relevant in this and I wish they can hear it. But because they are
Well, yo.
will not hear it.
Stand up for your right.
Madu
Yes.
Ajaja, CEO of ONN and convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, names those who must never be entrusted with the presidency of Nigeria by the Nigerian people because they are threats to the well-being of the country. The presidents that Nigeria does not need. 1. Atiku Abubakar. 2. Amechi Rotimi. 3. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. You know what?
All right.
I had the likes of Monday.
You ready? But now I sing, yeah. All right, let the storm start gathering. It's time for another show time at ONN. Yes, Smart Mado Ajaja, anchor of Nigeria Now at ONN. We're going to be talking about, yes, Africa's colonial mentality as it affects its leadership.
Smart Madu Ajaja, CEO of ONN and convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, names those who must never.
All right, welcome to the show. And I reintroduce myself. My name is Smart Mado Ajaja. I am the CEO of ONN and the anchor of Nigeria Now at ONN and the Nightingale Radio International, all the way from Houston, Texas, United States. Before we proceed, I'm going to run through a few things we did during the week on Facebook that we did not broadcast here live. And as you come, please like, click, and share. And if this is your very first time of being a part of us, showing up here at the ONN channel on YouTube, we welcome you warmly, and we urge you to feel at home. Feel free to be part of our discussion. We make mention of a lot of time Nigeria. We talk about Africa. I know that the problems of the world is perhaps the same in varying degrees and with varying geographical locations. So when we speak, and whatever we speak applies to your country, replace the Nigerian and put your country in there. So because we are a global movement, we talk about issues. Here in the United States, we talk about issues around the world. Anything you bring forth to us and you are willing to share with us, yes, we more than happy be part of it. And then we give our members and our subscribers rare opportunities to come in, and to discuss on camera, questions that you want to be part of what we are saying, and you want to show face on camera. We will send you the link to our studio so you can be a part of it. And I want to make a few announcements. Tomorrow, I'm going to be speaking to people from my tribe in Nigeria, the Eka tribe in Nigeria. There are questions that are being raised there, and we want to address some of those questions of our origin, questions about who we are, questions about what we speak, and some people trying to give us a different and really different identity that has absolutely nothing to do with who we are. So it's going to be taking place at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time here, and which is about 7 p.m. In Nigeria. So if you are in Nigeria now listening, so take note of that. Tomorrow, be part of that broadcast. It's very, very important, especially if you're a car person. All right, so we want to hear your perspective. And on the 17th of this month, August 17th, at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to be celebrating Marcus Mosiah Garvey. That is his 138th birthday anniversary. And in that meeting, we're going to bring some panel. We're going to raise a panel to discuss the life and times of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and the message he left behind for us to unite Africa. So that is very important. So those people are going to be talking about why Africa is still the way it is, why the vision of our founding fathers have not been realized, and what needs to be done. And one very important, critical part of our discussion is going to be bridging the gap between Africans born in Africa and Africans born outside Africa, including the African Americans that will need connection to the motherland. So it's a very, very interesting discussion. I hope you'll be available to be a part of it, contribute, and it's going to be an open mic session. So those who want to appear on camera, or you want to call in, if you want to call in during the conversation, the number to call is 713-281-5435. 713-281-5435. Yes, and I don't know if I recorded it right there, so you may see it there. But if not, it is 713-281-5435. So those are very, very, very important dates. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'll be making a live broadcast, targeting people from my place in Nigeria. They call a small tribe, they call Eka tribe. There is a confusion. Some people are trying to raise a confusion there, but we want to address it head on. So we put it in the, nip it in the bud before it becomes something. So it's a question of a definition of who we are in Nigeria and what we speak in Nigeria. Thank you, Jane, for joining in. We appreciate you all the time. Say, give this live thumbs up if you are an activist for human and environmental rights. So thank you very much. So yes, all our members who are joining, we love you. We welcome you. And if this is the very first time you are joining us here, please do us a favor by hitting that subscription button here. Please hit it now, hit it, and then hit the notification button so that anytime we come here, you will be one of the first to be notified. Joshua Harden, Igbo or Yoruba in Nigeria. I am Nigerian. I am from a smaller tribe they call Eka, but we are all one people. All right, so that's what I am. All right, so Joshua, you are welcome. It looks like you are joining us for the very first time. If that is the case, please subscribe to our channel and be a part of our growing movement. It's a global movement that we have, here. So today we are going to be talking about colonial mentality as it affects the African leadership. They still put themselves on the ground to be treated like little boys. And it's embarrassing to some of us who understand what is going on and who knows so much about global geopolitics. So we're looking forward. All right. Yes, thank you, Jane, for the great job. And we don't tolerate hate. We don't tolerate any kind of irresponsibility here. If you are here, be responsible, be attentive, and listen. Positivity only. No cussing, no disrespect, no racism, no racial slur. We do not tolerate any of that. Thank you very much, Jane, for hammering that. Yes, so before we proceed, I'm going to go ahead and run through a few things that we did during the past week, including my interview with Professor Paul Hader. Yes, a little bit of interview from Finding Fringes. Is the anchor of Finding Fringes out from Portland, Oregon. So we did an interview. He asked me a question about Africa, and the tune of that interview was why Imperial Europe is scared of African unity. Very important. So I'm going to play an excerpt of that before we proceed. Maybe the introductory part, because it's a long interview, an hour-long interview. So I'm going to go and play a little bit about it, so to warm up our people as they come in. Yes, so far so great. Yes, the house is filling up gradually as always, and we are looking forward to a big house today. All right, we are looking forward to see you guys there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, double tap your screens, to show love for ONN. All right, let's get it started.
Welcome again to Finding Fringe. Today I have a good friend of mine, goes back more than 30 years, and we're talking about Nigeria, which is an interesting topic indeed because we're in the United States and we're in Oregon, but there is a organization in Salem called Salem for Refugees. They bring in individuals from the Congo. I know they brought individuals in from Latin American countries, and so we have a diaspora here in Oregon tied to various reasons why individuals would be refugees. So today it's Madu Ajaja, and he's an activist who has a deep interest in lots of things, including socioeconomic, criminal, political, and environmental justice. He is a Pan-Africanist, which I am. He's a registered nurse living in Houston. He is got medical, surgical, orthopedic, and industrial correctional oncology, pediatric, and geriatric nursing under his belt, including in Nigeria, South Africa, and the U.S. So he is in Houston, and he's also the broadcaster and anchor of Nigeria Now at ONN and Nightingale Radio International, and he is a convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite. So the issue here is obviously we're working with
All right, I don't know what happened here, but we're going to get it back. Yes, so
never pay for your internet again. Discover the free Wi-Fi router built with the same technology used in space stations. Obama's African. We talk about geopolitics here. African is definitely one of the monsters in Africa with all those military bases. It was set up by Obama, and Pan-Africanists and Black nationalist organizations have certainly gone against AFRICOM in its 17-year existence. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about lots of issues, including the fight for a better Nigeria. You can certainly read up on Nigeria. It's got a colonial history that is typical of a lot of African nations. The British had it, and they gained their independence in 1960, and so it became a republic in 1963. So those years of independence, it's gone through civilian and military rule. It's definitely a country that has been divided. 220 million people in Nigeria, and it's basically there's ethnic, regional, and religious issues, and they don't have a nationalistic ideology which would create a common good. I know there's this issue of the world wide forum, the whole concept of killing national boundaries and letting us be a complete globalist world. But I think, Madhu, we can talk about why it's important to fight for this country, oil-rich, exploited, and yeah, thanks a lot. The Empire Britain, and now the new Empire America, United States. Welcome to my show.
Thank you very much. It's such a great honor, brother and friend Paul. It's a pleasure being with you. Thank you very much, sir, for this great honor.
So how did you get to Houston? So you're from Nigeria, you were born in Nigeria. Where in Nigeria?
I was born at Ababo in Delta State of Nigeria in 1962.
1962, and so why were you not there in your teens and your 20s, and now why aren't you in Nigeria?
Well, I lived in Nigeria for probably half of my life before I moved out of Nigeria to first South Africa and then later to the United States. The reason is the deplorable condition in which Nigeria has been serially placed, and that has just reached the very dangerous crescendo in the last 26 years.
Well, I mean, it's a country that I'm not a big fan of many parts of the United Nations, but there are over $400 billion have been stolen between 1960 and the year 2000. Sani Abacha probably took 3-4% of the country's GDP every year when he was president. It's a staggering amount of money that has put Nigeria like so far backwards in terms of social safety nets and its own internal economy. It's just all a plundering kind of scenario for Nigeria.
Yes. The story of Nigeria, as you know, and I'm so happy. Sometimes I wonder how you know as much, and even somehow deeper information that I don't have what you have in Nigeria. That goes to show how interested and how much love you have for Nigeria and the African continent. It's like the country was founded on a very wrong foundation that was one. It was a serious foundational problem, like those that we refer to as the founding fathers of the country. They were not prepared to build any nation out of Nigeria. They were just driven by tribal and maybe somehow religious interests and their corruption. So corruption has its roots in Nigeria for a very long time. It's something that started from independence, and that was a culture that those who colonized the country, I'm talking about Imperial Britain, put into the country to make it never work. Nigeria was designed to never work. And from what people do, they go there not to serve the people, but to loot and take for themselves and not for anybody. And it became a tradition, it became a culture. No Nigeria. I don't even see any Nigerian who has stood up to want to serve Nigeria beyond serving himself. And that has been the trajectory. And it just got worse that the country is looking
Wherever the road takes you, Chevy is ready to drive you forward. With pure power unleashed and future-forward technology, every path leads to new possibilities. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
When I first tried cassava, I was hooked. It is way more than protein. The thing I'm most...
I don't want to be so pessimistic to say that the country is looking so near irredeemable, because of corruption. Corruption is a very terrible thing that has found the country apart. And it has crept into the grassroots, and you know what that means for a country. When corruption becomes a tradition, the country finds it so difficult to find its rhythm, and that is where we are right now. Nigeria deserves a revolution, not now. Politicians cannot solve the problems of Nigeria. Let me put it at that. So for now, thank you, sir.
Well, I sent to you an article on Gambia, and Gambia is ready for revolution, and it's young people being arrested who are protesting these colonial legacy, the elites that are stealing and plundering, but your own country,
Hey, welcome back, Simon. Thank you.
In eastern Nigeria, and that was a genocide. And talk a little bit about Bafria, the whole concept of this country. People know very little about our own country, but they're Biafra in Nigeria and that whole military genocide of Nigeria back in the 60s.
Yes, I happened to be a young little kid at the time all these whole things started playing out.
Okay.
Like I said, the country was founded on the wrong footing. None of the founding fathers, maybe perhaps one.
Hey, thank you very much, all those who are joining. Like, share, comment, and feel free to mingle and be with us. We are listening to a very, very important interview about Africa, about Nigeria. Yes, like this live show. If you like what you're hearing, you like what we've been doing, and then much love to you, all those who are liking and sharing. We need you, to give us that commendation, for what we are doing. We appreciate your presence and always look forward to seeing you back here. All right, let's continue.
Was prepared to build a nation, but the other partners were not interested in building a nation. So within a few years of the country's existence.
Oh, Simon, you said you were very sick. What happened? Hey, I hope you took some medicine and then take some rest, so you're going to get better. I hope you had a great day. Today was your birthday, right? So please, take care of yourself. Make sure that you're okay, all right? Drink a lot of water, okay?
The country cascaded into this ugly of violence. We started from the west of Nigeria, where the Yorubas are, and there was, in fact, there's an hangover from the amalgamation treaty that was signed in 1914 that did not take cognizance of the country's over 350 ethnic nationalities. It was just 6 Nigerians who were arranged. I don't know, I think they were entrepreneurs who did not know what to do with the vast land that was available in Nigeria. Plus, the British came, 22 Britons came, working on behalf of the Royal, so-called Royal Imperial conglomerate. They came and put this sham together that we recognize today as Nigeria. And it's so sad that the rest of the country, what became the country, were not a party to it. They were not involved. Their consent was not sought before they signed an amalgamation treaty that included 2 Fulanis, 2 Yoruba elites, 1 Kanuri, and 1 from where we refer to as the Niger Delta.
This is Buick. Now, Buick, Exceptional by design.
Get 0.9% APR on these 2025 Buick models. Plus, current eligible non-GM owners get up to $3,000 allowance on Encore GX.
Six of them find the country into hell. Well, perhaps ignorantly, because they didn't know better, they didn't know what they were doing. The British tricked them into signing an amalgamation, which was a genocide that has become a genocide.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Jane. Thank you.
They were unlicensed.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And
For the super thanks.
some of those who had stated for the decolonization of Nigeria were not part, were not even at the party of the lowering of the British Union Jack. They were not there in anger. So those were the people that the British now started punishing for the role they played in the agitation that led Nigeria to the wobbly independence that we have right now. So and most of those people were from the Igbos who fought for the decolonization of Nigeria. But unfortunately, they were kicked out of the cup and put in a corner. So when the country started, an election was held in 1959. The one of those actors, British actors, who was part of the sham, confessed, perhaps before he died, that it was the biggest embarrassment that the British had to bring upon Europe, and especially the British people. So that was how they described it. And it didn't take too long before trouble started. The man in the north, Amadou Bello, the premier in the north. The other party did not win the election because one of those whose party won the election, that was Dr. Nandia Sikiwe, he didn't want to build a nation. He wanted to build a nation for Nigeria. He was at the center, but the other ones were at the periphery. They didn't want to be part of what will become the nation. So he made compromises. His party won the election, but he allowed the party that did not win the election to produce the prime minister. And the prime minister was a lackey who did not have a mind of his own. He was taking direction from Amadou Bello in the north, who was the premier of the north. So things started happening. Then there was this young military officer led by Major Patrick Kaduna Nzongo, who was the director.
Hey, Simon Walker. Well, I feel we are so sorry about your situation. You said you have cancer and you have only 13 days to live. But do you know that with your mind that you can be set free, no matter what the situation is? Just believe and call on the Almighty God that today, with your encounter here, that your situation will be reversed and you will live for as long as God wants you to live, and not because of what a doctor told you. I pray for you that you will live and your cancer will go away. If you believe, just take it in your mind, take it to heart, and then go and believe that it's done. Because there is nothing the Almighty God cannot do. All right, but you have to believe, you have to agree that it is done and it will be done. I look forward to hearing from you another day. Yes. Okay? Bye for now. All right. Okay. Let's continue.
Military intelligence at the time. And then they had this military intelligence that there was a plan to overrun the country by those driven by jihadist ideology. Remember, in 1804, there was a huge jihad in the north of Nigeria that possessed the Hausa people of their land. And this jihad was led by a man who migrated from where they call Kuta Jalon in present-day Senegal, and his name was Osman Fodio. So Amadu Bello was a grandson of Osman Fodio. And before Osman Fodio died, he said that he left a message for them that they must continue the jihad until they drop the Quran in the sea. Yes, that's to signal the conquest of the last town, the south of the country. And for them, it's a generation, I think, to these days. So when you hear Boko Haram,
Dear fellow Nigerians, my name is Smart Mado Ajaja. I am the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, and the anchor of Nigeria Now at ONN and the Nightingale Radio International. Yes, something mighty, something very massive will be happening at ONN. Yes, on the 17th of August 2025. And you know what that is? I am putting a conference together. Yes, for the whole of Africa. Yes, Africa. And with emphasis on the young people of Africa who don't know enough of their history. Yes, yes. So, what we are going to do is to instigate a new round of conversation on the story of Africa and why Africa is where it is and what we must do to set Africa free so that our 1.5 billion people will be set free and unleashed, yes, to enjoy the good and promise of Africa that imperialists and their children and generations have been enjoying unjustly at our expense. Rise up.
Fulani bandits, that is the mission that they have been carrying on. And for them, it's something that they must do until they take control of the whole of Nigeria. Anyway, so getting back to what happened in 1966, this young military officers discovered what was happening. So they quickly put a coup together to stop this from happening. The coup was quite successful, and along the line, something happened that there were some military officers, again, those military officers were Igbos who wanted the country to be together. The Igbos led by Abu Ironsi, and then another principal actor that helped stop the coup was later Odumegu Ojukwu, who later became the Biafran leader. So now the media in Nigeria have never been good. They have been ever corrupt. And driven by the expression of the country, they coined it an Igbo coup. Abuse the Igbos in Nigeria sat together to plan a coup of state Nigeria and take power, which is far from the truth. Many people, many scholars, including those who were to be beneficiaries of this coup, have come out to say no, it wasn't an Igbo coup. But they have successfully, the media in Nigeria and those who drive it, successfully have stamped it in the head of Nigeria. So,
wherever the road takes you, Chevy is ready to drive you forward with pure power unleashed and future-forward technology. Every path leads to new possibilities. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Like the video, like the live, we appreciate all those who have given us, sending us super thanks. Thank you very much for all that. And please like and share and make comments. Let us hear from you, from what we are talking about. This is a preamble. This interview, I believe, is very, very important to us. We wanted to air it live for the world to hear about why Imperial Europe and other imperial powers are scared of a united Africa. So that is the crux of the matter. So perhaps another 20 minutes, that video will be over, and then we go into the message of today. So I wanted to use that as a warm up, to what is going to take place for the next hour when I come on board to talk about the inferiority complex on the part of African leaders. So please stay tuned while we work on this. All right, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Helped create this. This is the largest U.S. crewed, built, and operated LNG bunker vessel in the USA. It refuels LNG-powered cargo vessels, helping transport the goods that America needs. It can carry 13 million gallons of LNG, grow the LNG network, and pave the way for the next generation of low.
Events quickly unfolded. There was this huge massacre of the peoples in the north and elsewhere in Nigeria, but heavily in the north. Before they declared what they called a war, a civil war.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you.
Was a genocide. It remains a genocide because it was a genocide. Looking at how it was carried out, jumping on one people by the whole of Nigeria, manipulated by these jihadists here, that led to the massacre of over 5 million people from the same place. I don't know what other names to give it other than a genocide. So they started, so the remnants of the Igbos living in the north had to migrate. And then there was this huge pressure on Ojukwu, who never wanted Nigeria to be divided. He was one of those who talked to Nzogo to stop the idea of the coup. So they negotiated a settlement that returned Nzogo to Lagos, and he was arrested, and along with the other groups, whatever they call them, but I see them as revolutionaries. Revolutionaries who saw what is going on in Nigeria today. Revolutionaries like Thomas Sankara. Revolutionaries like the young man today, Ibrahim Traore. Yes, they saw Nigeria ahead of 50 years, maybe 50 years ahead of what's taking place today. So, sadly, the highest ranking general in the army after the government came down. The highest ranking army general was Abu Iransi. So he took reins of power. And Abu Iransi again was an Igbo man. The first thing he did was to bring up a decree that united the country. So, through a military fiat. Yes, I don't know what anybody would have done at that stage, especially in a country that was in disarray from the political violence already taking place between two rivals.
Yes, what you have been listening to is an interview I granted Professor Paul Hader of the Finding Fringe radio station out there in Portland, Oregon. And the theme of the interview was, or is and remains, why Imperial Europe is scared of Africa's unity. Let's get on.
In the southwest of Nigeria, Obafemi Awolowo and one-time ally, Kintola. Yes. So that was how it started. And before we knew anything, the Igbo started moving eastward to their homeland. And now there was this pressure on Ojukwu, who was appointed governor not too long ago of the Eastern Nigeria region. Okay. So they were putting him under a lot of pressure. He had no choice, looking at how much they were massacring his people.
Let's say you have 50K in cash and you use that to buy Bitcoin on Coinbase. Bitcoin's at 100K. Everyone's celebrating. You feel like you're finally part of the digital asset revolution.
And the people through him declared their own country. And that was when they came down. I saw it from from the eye of a little child who was about 5 6 years old, and it got to be at the periphery of gunfire booming with 4/7. And then how it impacted my own family, how my own immediate older brother died without access to medical care. It brings sorrow to my heart every day I think about it. And that is the reason I have adopted this position I've adopted about Nigeria. That is why we are talking about the ideology of open Nigeria. That I believe is the surest way out of the quagmire we have in Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, this is the basic characteristic of British colonialism, is that they want a customary authority in Africa. So it's different than the French, who strive to create French citizens out of Africans. The British retain Nigerians in their ethnic constitutions, and so this is a way of splitting people along ethnic lines. And there's a concept of strangers' quarters, the Savangari, the concept of the ghettoization of Nigeria, with the Igbos, being ghettoized and called strangers in their own land. And this is just the legacy of the white imperialist domination. Continues today, even though most African nations have gained their independence, they're still under the thumb of economic and global colonization. The French and the British and the Americans are still messing big with most of the African nations. Kenya is now a proxy of the United States, going into Haiti now to mess up that country. I mean, there's 3 African nations that are supposed members of NATO in a weird way. Morocco, Kenya, and what's the other one? They're working as thugs for America, and this is 50, 60 years after that genocide that you talked about, Madhu. It must be disheartening to see how rampant the concept of imperialism, post-imperialism, is taking over not only Nigeria, which is the largest populated country in Africa, but other countries where these military bases are located throughout the African continent.
Absolutely. And that is the reason why the African mind has to change. What they did to the mind of the African is horrible. How they made the African a stranger to himself, a stranger to his country, and a stranger to his brothers and sisters, that he must now lie in order to survive. Is bad. And this is what is happening right now in Africa with Ibrahim Traore becoming a symbol of the sovereignty and true independence of Nigeria. This is why they want him out by all means and at all costs.
Burkina Faso.
Using who? Africa. Using who? Some Africa. Yes. Either born in Africa or in the diaspora, holding positions of authority that they can deploy for the good of our oppressors, and to the detriment and disadvantage of the African people. So it's a new consciousness that this situation that we are experiencing right now. What is great time to be an African? What is great time to be alive? I'm hoping that we start thinking and really thinking for us and as Africans, and with the next generation in mind, who must not continue this legacy of being chained down any and everywhere in Africa.
I'm thinking of, I've read about the Black Scorpion, Benjamin Adekunle, and here's a quote. He was one of the war commanders. I want to see no Red Cross, no no World Council of Churches, no Pope, no missionary, and no UN delegation. I want to prevent even one Igbo from having even one piece to eat before their capitulation. We shoot at everything that moves, and when our troops march into the center of Igbo territory, we shoot at everything, even at things that do not move. And this is, for me, I know I'm going to jump here, this is what Israel is doing to the Gazans, to Palestine. Shoot everything that moves. I mean, in fact, that attitude went to Vietnam, and shoot anything that moves is the name of a book of some anti-Vietnam War activists, military-aged men, MAM, even Colin Powell, Major Colin Powell, was one of the creators of that policy where you shoot.
Wherever the road takes you, Chevy is ready to drive you forward with pure power unleashed and
At MAMs, military-aged men, and that could be a child of 13, and so it's kind of scary that the Black Scorpion that I read about in your history is now AFRICOM Commander Michael Langley. So he is an American, African American, and he is part of AFRICOM, which is this ruthless organization that is America on steroids, with its forced members of the civil society into silence. It's this whole concept of deadly violence vis-a-vis America. It's a very kind of shaky kind of concept I'm hearing with the Black Scorpion, and now we got the Black Commander, 4-star General Michael Langley. Crazy stuff, my dude.
Yes, crazy indeed. And the story of Black Scorpion, and of course, everything he said, he was a daredevil terrorist who massacred the Igbos, fellow Nigerians, with reckless abandon. And it is sad how nobody was held accountable for the genocide, the one-point genocide that took place in Nigeria. It was sad how no war criminal was taken and tried. I think what happened to Nigeria remains the worst tragedy in Africa, if not the world, because of the quantum amount of people's lives that were lost, and now equating General Langley with Dekule Black Scorpion. Yes, I don't see anything wrong, but the good thing is that Michael Langley appears to be on his own, because the diaspora Africans, and talking about the descendants of the slaves, are out distancing themselves from him, because he didn't appear to know the history of Africa or the history of his ancestors. I don't know what drives him. I don't want to believe that he was acting the script of anybody, but if that is the case, I'm sure he's getting the flack, from the outrage, from the public. I'm talking about globally about this. And I hope that helps him as an instruction to think seriously about continuing on his deadly mission, because the greatest thing that has happened is that now African young people are becoming increasingly aware, with the exception perhaps of some of those in Nigeria that we are still working on now, because they have been hammered down by this evil of tribalism and all that religious nationalism. So I'm hoping that with time, with all that is unfolding, they will begin to see all those facts that we have been showing them, that we can build a country, a multi-ethnic country, without letting one another's blood. And, with that sense of urgency of nationalism and patriotism that is needed for us to defend our country's territorial integrity and sovereignty, and for us as a people that should be able to control their own destiny So it's an interesting time. For my my general Langley, who have sent him a message, a lot of Africans have sent him a message to go back and study the history of slavery, study the history of colonialism, and study the history of imperialism, and then study his own history as a black person here in the United States. So perhaps that will provide a sense of direction going forward for him.
Well, I mean, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they have there's some of the strongest anti-imperialist alliance. The Alliance of Sahel states. They're throwing the soldiers out. The U.S. had 1,000 soldiers in Niger, and this is a growing apathy on the ground against these former colonizers, and now, of course, the neo-colonizers that include mostly the United States. But they want to grasp onto whatever stranglehold they have over Africa. And like I said, Kenya is now a major non-NATO ally, including Morocco and, of course, Egypt. And, Langley was quoted in a Senate committee hearing in March of 2023, quote, "We need to be able to maintain access and influence across the Maghreb from Morocco all the way to Libya." So to hell with African sovereignty and the human right to self-determination. So he is just another iteration of what Cornel West called Obama when Obama ran, the N-word, plantation house.
Base is the only energy company that gives you backup power right in your house. Our goal is to provide you with reliable, affordable power. When you become a member of Base, you'll enjoy a low, fixed energy rate along with whole home outage protection from our batteries. We have 2 different battery configurations. Both will provide backup power to every circuit in your home.
N-word, this is what we have. The Black Caucus is considered the misleadership caucus. This must be a little chilling for you to be in Houston, that terrible state, and chilling for you to see all this African American history being wiped away with Musk and Trump at the helm, and colleges are running around like, I hate to use this analogy, like chickens without their heads, because they don't know how to stop this attack on history, so-called DEI, whatever you want to call it. It's still affirmative action. It's still the history of this country's Monroe Doctrine, this country's work in the Philippines, this country's early history of stealing land from Mexico and Spain. It's incumbent upon young people to know the history, even if it goes back 500 years, so they can advance forward, Madhu, to have a true concerted force, revolutionary force. And to be honest, many people believe that the only way you get rid of Zionism is through war. I mean, armed resistance and armed revolution is certainly what a lot of young people in Africa and in other countries are demanding.
Absolutely, Paul. Like I said earlier, the awareness, the level of consciousness, especially among young Africans, who I think that the internet has played a huge role in bringing a lot of things that young people, some people, including those in my generation, did not know before now about the history of Africa, how Africa went through slavery, colonialism, imperialism, apartheid, and now globalization, which serves those who created them as a certificate of occupancy that they can come and occupy and take Africa on challenge. But I have a message for those who think that it will be business like before, that they will face a very stiff opposition from this generation of Africa. It's not going to happen the way it happened with our ancestors back in history. People are getting aware. People are asking a lot of questions. Why are we 1.5 billion people with over 45% of the earth resources, and yet we are the poorest people. This is the question people are asking from Nairobi to Lagos, Ouagadougou, Accra, and everywhere in Africa. It's a very serious question, and I don't think they are playing. The young generation of Africans are asking a lot of questions. You might want to ask why people from this very rich continent still have to march on foot across the Scottish Heat in the Sahara Desert to get to Libya, where they are traded as slaves years, and a lot of them end up, dying in the process. And those who are able to escape, get into raft boats across the wild Mediterranean, where a lot of them get drowned and a few survive, and only to be held in Italy and other parts of Europe in concentration camps, where they are fed the dog food like animals. So there's anger, widespread anger across Africa, and that is the reason why the dictators, the puppets that serve the interest of imperial Europe are now shaking, and then they don't know what to do but unleashing violence, hoping that that will be able to help them keep this ravaging and stampeding young people at bay. But I tell them, when a time like this has come, I don't see anything that can stop the people from having their way. It may be a little while, before they can do it, but I see a mass revolution. What we are seeing in Burkina Faso, I believe, is a child to what is going to happen in Nigeria in perhaps no distant time. Yes, because Nigeria is the greatest obstacle to the liberation of Africa as we speak right now. Something got to happen in Nigeria for Africa to be truly liberated. And I see it happen. Because what we have in Nigeria is not of Nigeria. What we have in Nigeria was not made by Nigeria. What we have in Nigeria has no respect for Nigeria. What we have in Nigeria is a representative of the enemies of Nigeria and the African people. So I see, like a lot of other people have seen, a huge life-scale revolution, taking place in Africa. Ibrahim Traoré.
We at Little Caesars know the Fantastic Four deserve a fantastic pizza.
Is a symbol, and the African people are not joking, especially this year. He's a young man, that 7-year-old man, so fast in the history of Africa, and a lot of what is playing out that has led the continent to be an empire of poverty. We can't continue to have it that way. Thank you, sir.
Well, the idea of the MNNA, the major non-NATO allies, so what's happening here is the military-industrial complex, which is supported by both parties in this country, the U.S. duopoly, as I call it. The DoD equipment is then getting into the hands of Egypt, Morocco, and of course Kenya. And so this is the way to incite destabilization and insecurity across Africa. So it's the windfall for the military contractors. It's a windfall for the financial capitalists. It's this windfall for all the kids that are going into drone schools and going into surveillance. And it's people like the guy Lucky who runs Androl. It's this rampant militarization of the globe by the imperialists. England is still doing it. Germany is giving weapons, bombs to kill Gazans. What an interesting time, but also sort of a scary time for a revolutionary, Madhu, because it sticks and stones maybe against this net of satellites and surveillance and even the internet. This radio show is being screened through Pegasus and other forms of finding out who the dissidents are. It's pretty scary time too. And not to be a pessimist here, Madhu Ajuju, it's a bigger issue than we can imagine. And you're in Houston as a diaspora, and I'm a
I'm not a black, but I'm a nationalist. I'm for black nationalism and Pan-Africanism, but it's like talking to a person who speaks Greek. They don't even understand why a white guy like me would be so involved in
Crazy white guy like you.
You got that one? So talk a little bit about the fact that we got this amazing young man who actually went to the 80th anniversary of the end of Nazism, fascism. He was greeted in Moscow just a couple days ago from Burkina Faso. He's an amazing young man who is on the world stage, and he's got a target on his back, I am sure, because he is a Pan-Africanist who is a socialist who's looking for progressive ideals in his own country and in the larger area that he represents. Those three countries now allow individuals to cross borders without passports, so they've created their own little area that I guess is just really getting under the collar of Americans. I mean, the warmongers.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's an amazing time. Ibrahim Traore has come to wake up the sleeping visions that our founding fathers had over 80 years ago. And again, the mission, the dream, the vision of Marcus Mosiah Garvey and Robert Nesta Mali, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Toure, Abdel Nasser, and Julius Nyerere, and a host of them. Samora Machel, you know the story of Samora Machel. So this young man is an embodiment of all these great Africans, Augustine Neto and all the rest of them, And Robert Mugabe, that was so demonized, they demonized him and we hated him, and we thought that he was the problem, that they destroyed the country's economy in order for them to have their way. Now, you see what the resilience that is coming on from Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. You see, if it was before, these guys would have been routed a long time ago. But the people now have come to an understanding that this was the same game of the past, the use of sanctions to create insurrection from within. It's not happening. So the people are ready to sacrifice with their leaders who are leading them right. The good thing is when you lead by example, the people will follow. When you lead with clean hands, you are not corrupt and you have demonstrated it to them. Look here, we have a problem, all of us must unite to solve. You can't beat it. So that is why they are not having as much success as they had hoped since the kicking out of France from this country. Yes, I tell you this, that the greatest knockout that these guys put out was the liberalization of trade and the opening of those borders. We want more Ibrahim Traore across Africa. I don't care what anybody thinks, we want more of him, because as it stands right now, you will agree with me that there is a lot of pressure, on him from the continent as the new face of leadership of the African continent. So he needs help. He needs more help. We need at least 20, 30 Ibrahim Traore.
Yeah,
Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. Like the people who keep this country moving. For them, only America's most dependable truck will do. In every Chevy truck, dependability comes standard.
So the oppressors will have enough thinking to do and enough work to do. And that to let them know that we have graduated from the University of Colonialism and Imperialism. We are no longer ready to take it. So if they want to come and be with us, they must come on equal terms. Yes, we are willing to share African resources because we have been the good people. We are the people who have never had the need to go and establish military bases beyond our frontiers. So why should anybody come to put military bases in Africa? Whose interest are they serving? Who are they protecting? And more Africans are dying by the day. You see, since these guys came to power and took over, they are fighting head-on terrorism and banditry without relenting. And they are having great resources. Those who did not see the problem of human rights violations before now that the crime was committed are now crying. When they are terrorists, some of us that they converted into weapons, when they are held accountable, they start shouting about human rights violations. Who are they giving human rights? Did they give anybody human rights? They did not. Those who enslaved our ancestors did not, and created them. Yes, I'm talking about created them for 400 years across the Atlantic. They did not give them human rights, right? Did they? And those who enslaved our people, I'm talking across the other side of it, Trans-Sahara. For 700 years, the Arabs enslaved our people. Did they give them human rights? Who did they give human rights? So they have no right. They are not in any position to tell anybody what to do. We want Africa that will work for the African people and then share our resources with the rest of the world who we choose to share with, and not you coming to take it by force and giving us whatever you like and then you call it aid. No, we don't need aid. Africa does not need aid. We are not a poor people. Africa is not a poor continent. We are the richest continent on the earth. So we must be allowed people, we will take it our right to self-determination, to be whatever we want to be, and to be those progressive people. Our children need to have good schools. Our children need to have good hospitals. Our children need to have great infrastructure. Our people deserve to be happy. We don't deserve to be traveling across the Sahara. Yes, in those days, in the early time, they created our ancestors. Now we scramble to go out of our countries to become enslaved. This is not a good time for the oppressors. So that is why they are unhappy. That is why they want to do whatever they can to instill the usual fear in us through getting Abraham Traore either to compromise or out. So, I mean, I don't know how else to explain this, Brother Paul.
No, it's absolutely spot on, and this is true of my places of interest as well. Latin America, Guatemala, El Salvador. We're seeing what imperialism has done in El Salvador with these gangs, so-called gang members, people that are taken off the streets and thrown into a private prison in El Salvador. I mean, the whole dirty wars throughout Nicaragua, fighting the Sandinistas. Even Jimmy Carter allowed the CIA to mine the harbors of Managua when the Sandinistas first overthrew Somoza, another pig, imperialist pig who dominated the people, stole from the people, created more poverty, and of course all the human rights violations. I'm talking to Madhu Ajaja. He's also known as Smart Madhu Ajaja, and we call him the Lion. And we need to talk about Houston and your Rasta. You consider yourself a Rasta, man. Bob Marley, man, you know what I mean, man. And and you've got a family, and so talk about how you sort of square those corners. That you're this activist. You've got this radio show. You've even ran for the Senate in Nigeria, but you got 3 children, and you're struggling like all of us as a nurse. And you said you might be coming up to Oregon one day. Talk a little bit about your family and what you do in Houston, Texas.
All right, thank you very much for this great opportunity. I have a very, very, very loving young family, and right from onset, I came to Houston in 1996. Yes, 1996. And since then, I've been here. I spent a lot of time in Illinois, in Chicago, but I didn't quite like it because of the cold and the wind there. So I found a place here. Got married here in 1998 and started raising a family, and have 3 children here, all doing well by the standard of what is here. And they understand that I am a missionary. They understand that I am an activist. And I tell you, those kids, my family makes a lot of sacrifice.
When you travel as a family, every minute matters. Everything feels more intense. The emotions, the surprises, and those little things that save the day. That's why we choose Olify. With unlimited data and a reliable connection.
Right. Well, what I do, sometimes I am absent because I'm involved in one thing or the other, trying to, get Nigerians to wake up and take their country. I do a lot sometimes. I travel a lot of times. I don't even spend up to 4 hours of sleep every day since the past, I don't know how, over the past nearly 20 years, I've been on this. And, these children are so understanding of very, I don't know how to describe how happy I am with my family, for the understanding that they are atypical. I'm telling you, because of what I shared privately with you, what happened to me, my family would have come apart, seriously apart. But I'm a hardcore family man because of the background I have in Nigeria. We are very strong family people. My mother and my dad were great people. They are inspiration. Both were activists. So it is a little bit surprised to me that I am what I am. What I am is a reflection of my background, especially my mom and my dad, what they represented. So I'm amplifying their voice, because they didn't have the kind of access to the media that I have right now, access to a lot of things that I have. So I am so happy that I am taking their message, to the world. It gives me a lot of yes, things are tough. Now, I've never seen this country where it has turned out right now. I've never seen the United States the way it is. Sometimes I begin to ask myself a question, are we sliding back? Like we are becoming Nigeria here in this country, yeah. But we are not going to give up. We are fighters. I'm a Rasta man. Rasta don't give up. And so that's what it is. As long as I know, as a Rasta, I refrain from hate, mischief, ego trip, jealousy, and hypocrisy. It's either the truth or nothing else. And that is what I represent. So I would say, on the average, life has been okay, good here. So I feel my family is a very great relationship with my children. So it gives me a lot of joy. Whenever I have the opportunity, like I do a lot of people. I support a lot of people in Nigeria. I support a lot of people in Nigeria. Seriously, I support a lot of people in Nigeria. I taught my children the concept of sharing love, with those who do not have. Because the Almighty gave us the opportunity, to be whatever we want to be. But sometimes you find men put obstacles in the ways of others. Along the line, if you are able to, help one or two, it doesn't take a lot to show love and show kindness. That's one thing I teach my children, and they understand that, and they are very much with me in whatever I do. But whenever we have time to spend together, we spend it like there is no tomorrow. And whatever I do for them, they are so appreciative. Give my children $10, they are so happy. When they ask me and I don't have, they say it's okay. They don't fight me. They don't get angry with me. They know that when I do, I share. And also my youngest daughter called me and said, you are so kind. I say, why did you say that? He said, no, you are awesome. You are an awesome dad. You are a very kind man, But that is that. So I am happy, but I am sad with the way Africa is. I'm sad with the way Nigeria is, and that is why what I'm doing is a lifetime commitment. I'm not corrupt. I'm not morally bankrupt, but I do have flaws. But those flaws do not overpower me, not to be able to do what I was got to do. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, there's a lot of Nigerians here, almost 600,000 in the United States. I know Texas has the most, at about 115,000 Nigerian Americans, and Houston is behind New York, but Houston has a lot of Nigerians. So 600,000 of you guys and gals are in this country. You are an amazing group of people. You're not always on the same page, that's for sure. I'm talking to Madhu Ajaja about his life here in the United States as a Nigerian. He's an activist, he's a Pan-Africanist. He's definitely ready for revolution, and while he considered himself a Rasta, which is he's Christian, and many Africans have been Christianized, including the Igbos years ago. He has that zeal to overthrow the oppressors, and the oppressors many times are the same Christian soldiers, the crusaders that have destroyed the planet. I mean, I don't always like to go to Jared Diamond. He did write a book called Collapse: How Societies Choose to Fail or Succeed, and he wrote a book called Guns, Germs, and Steel. I'd much rather have a person of color's books like Eduardo Galeano, and there are plenty of Africans and American Africans who've written about the hellhole that Africa had become because of policies and of imperial overreach. So I really appreciate this. We could talk for hours. We got about 8 minutes left on this particular one. Let's see, what does Oregon have? Oregon has maybe 2,200 Nigerians up here. So when are you going to come up to Oregon, and why would you come up to Oregon, huh, Madhu?
Oh, all right. Oregon, coming to Oregon is a sure bet, and hopefully in no distant time, I will come to Oregon because of you. Primarily, you know, you and I met, we come a long way. Like you pointed out, I remember the first encounter we had when you were at the Paso, University of Texas at the Paso. That was where we first met. And
El Paso, Texas, at the University of Texas, El Paso, where I was a part-time organizer, and all of a sudden in the hallway, I see this man come knocking on the door. And what were you knocking on my door for? To put me in jail or what? Yes. That was a great moment, you know. And right from there, that English department, right, the University of Texas and the Paso, that was where it all started. And then when you moved to Gonzaga, you know, somehow along the line, you know, we connected again. Then you were at Gonzaga at the time doing a graduate program and teaching there too. So that became home, and because of that, I kept on coming back. So Oregon is a done deal. I'll be there to see my brother, my friend, Paul Hayden. You know, perhaps, you know, maybe if possible, I'll be able to meet the Nigerian community there if it is possible, if you know any of them that we can, you know, talk to and stuff like that. So that would be great. That would be great. I look forward to a trip to Oregon, hopefully soon. There's plenty of Nigerians in Portland, but you were going to come up here, something about visiting a prison. Before we go out, what was that gig all about? What are you talking about?
Yeah, you know, I'm a nurse. I have part of my experience is my area of specialization is correctional nurse and working in prison facilities. I did that here in Houston at the time. So when somebody looked at my resume and they sent a message, please, you know, for family reasons, I said, no, I'm not going to do it. So they got disappointed that I did not do it. So yeah, I have experience working as a correctional nurse in the prison, you know, and it was fun when I did it here in Houston. So that was the mission to Oregon, but the mission has changed now. It's going to be Paul Hayden, my brother, that I'll be coming to see in Oregon.
Well, I probably will head back to Texas. El Paso I haven't returned to in many, many years, and so maybe Houston will be the first stop. It's 2025, the year of the wooden snake, and I have a snake at home with Lisa, my wife. Copernicus, the ball python I adopted from a vegetarian who didn't want to feed the snake rats anymore, and so it's a weird world, and let's kick this out, man. I mean, I wish I was playing some Bob Marley. What Bob Marley song would we be going out with if I had?
Africa Unite, Africa Unite. What is this right now?
What do you sense by the time you have your grandchildren? Will they be seeing a new continent of thriving and amazing people that have their own independence, or is it going to be earlier than your grandchildren?
I think it's going to be earlier with what is happening. The pressure right now is high. You know, a lot of people don't want the African Union as constituted right now working for an alternative African Union, not this. So I see Africa uniting sooner than later, and I believe it's going to be in my lifetime. I'm not saying the way it is going, the way things are going, because that is the only way for Africa. That's all the internal troubles, like Omari said. Yes, if we come together, we will overcome all of our internal troubles. All the internal troubles, all the terrorist things, you know, they are not of Africans. They are not. And the reason they are able to succeed to do all this is because the continent is so fragmented. So take, for instance, a little country like a Republic of Benin with a sovereignty. The country's population is not even up to 5 million. All right? How will that country be able to stand up to any external pressure? You remember from one of the allegations that Ibrahim Traore had, the Republic of Benin and Ivory Coast are being used as basis by France to make terrorist incursions into their territory. Yes, those are little countries like Togo. Togo is so little. So you look at the impact it will have if we bring it together. Africa as a country with one currency, with one economy, without border, and with one military. That is what they are scared of.
Okay, we're out of here. We're out of here for this. I'm gonna kick it out, and that's Madhu Ajaja. I will continue this conversation. Take care. Hang in there.
All right, viewers from around the world. This was a classic interview I had with Mr. Professor Paul Hader. Professor Paul Hader is an activist and an environmental activist, human and environmental rights activist, a writer, a filmmaker, and a university professor. We met about 27 years ago, a few years after I came into the United States, and since then we have been like brothers. He runs a radio show out of Portland, Oregon. He called it Finding Fringes. Paul is a very sacrificial person. You know what? Paul is a white man, but he's a Pan-Africanist, and he's a black nationalist here. Anything Africa is so vast in knowledge about the happenings in Africa. So we became brothers, and we have been brothers since then. So one of those days, he called me to tell me, man, come on, let us talk about Africa. With all that you are doing about Africa, your voice needs to be amplified. And he did that. And this interview is raging, seriously. You know, I am happy that I'm able to share this with you. So without much ado, it's all about Africa that we're talking about today. And what has happened to Africa, 5 very dangerous events, starting with slavery, colonialism, imperialism, apartheid, and now the finisher, the clincher, globalization. As sweet and as good as it is that we are able to connect with one another, globalization poses the greatest threat to African sovereignty. And that is what it is, because people come thinking that they see the imperialists come in a new form. They come as investors. What they try to do is to seize the continent and seize it permanently. Yes, and that is why they are afraid of the questions Africans are asking. That is the reason they are not happy that the likes of Goitra, Ibrahim Traore, and General Chiani are raising their fingers, asking questions. But in the midst of all these questions from here and there, that is not, we have not been able to put together as an organized agitation for the total independence and liberation of Africa. Quite a lot of African leaders have not changed their behavior. They have not changed from the subservience of the past. They will run to Europe like dogs when invited by that little boy they call Macron. Yes, they came the other day to the United States, yes, to visit President Donald J. Trump. And I felt so sad, like many millions of Africans felt sad, how they were treated like little boys, like little children. Yes, and we got to stop this. And this is the reason. It is all about colonial mentality and inferiority complex. The typical African head of state does not feel comfortable. He does not feel like he is up to it whenever these imperial forces are around because of this culture of receiving aids, culture of being helped. It is their fault that they are unable to develop Africa. It is their fault that they are not able to build educational institutions. Yes, it is their fault that they are not able to build infrastructures. It is their fault that they are unable to build research institutions. Yes, that makes us beggars at all times. And even though our continent has over 45% of the Earth's resources, something got to change. Something has to snap. Now, you see, the troubles we have in Africa, the wars here and there, the conflict in Congo, yes, inside Democratic Republic of Congo, a country that has never known peace since 1961. After they murdered Patrice Lumumba for standing up, he raised the question, he raised his fingers, asking that his country deserves to be free and truly a sovereign country with the capacity to manage its resources. No, it angered Belgium, it angered France, it angered the bigger Imperial Europe. Yes, they ganged up together and killed him. They overthrew him, killed him. They took him to Belgium, dissolved his body, full body, whole body, dissolved his body in a concentrated acid. Yes, so he melted. Yes, the only thing that was left of him was 2 teeth that was returned to Congo a few years ago. Yes, and you know what happened? Over 12 million Congolese, 12 million Congolese were massacred. Yes, by King Leopold of Belgium. Belgium is hardly bigger than my hometown in Nigeria. But they had this massive capacity to slaughter 12 million Congolese. 12, not 12,000, not 1,200. 12 million Congolese were massacred, yes, by Belgium and its allies. And they think it's okay, nothing is wrong. The same people who are telling us about human rights, the same people who are telling about transparency and accountability, the same people who call Africans corrupt, yes, they didn't see anything wrong with what they have done. And they have not effectively made any formal apologies and returned all that they stole from Congo. But Congo is dying in war. The people, a quarter of the country as we speak, is in internally displaced people's camp. But let's put it the right word, they are refugees in their country. And these imperial powers don't see anything wrong with that. Check it out. Africa is the only continent that has no foreign armies anywhere outside the shores of Africa. But in Africa, as we speak, there are over 600 foreign military bases. Doing what in Africa? What benefit are they to us? What are they doing? Steal our resources. Yes. And then when we raise up our fingers, they start attacks. As we speak, Burkina Faso is being troubled. They plant mercenaries. Why? Because they want one man out so that a business can continue as usual. But yet we have this group of criminal African leaders who can't see, who don't see, No, not that they don't see. Because of their corruption, they want the evil to continue. Nigeria is a case in point. Kenya is a case in point. Ivory Coast, yes, is a case in point. Cameroon is a case in point. How long are we going to have this going on? And then we talk about the freedom of Africa. How long do we talk about, are we going to be saying this? And they tell us about the United Nations. What is the United Nations controlled by 5 countries? What use is the United Nations that is not democratized? A United Nation that does not have an African voice. And it's a Security Council, Permanent Security Council. Yeah, only 5 countries. Majority imperial European countries. Yes. Tell me about justice on earth. Yes. Hey, I'm watching you from gold mining town of Kinjo, Gala, Kone District, Grand Cape, Mount County, Liberia. Thank you very much, Morris. How is the situation in Liberia? I have a very close friend from Liberia who is an activist, Lady Justice. We're very good friends, and she's doing a lot for your country. So if you can tell us a little bit about the situation in your country. I see a lot of what the politicians in your country are doing. Yeah, your head of state, your president was one of those who came to visit Donald Trump, President Trump here in the United States. And during that visit, he was told how proficient he was in English. He thought it was funny. I don't think that is funny. I think that is insulting. You know, yeah, where did you learn English? Yes, that is what they do, talk you down. And then we laugh over it and think it is something great. No, it ain't nothing great. We speak better English. We're taught better English. Yes, English is not our tongue. We don't even have to master it. But this is the situation. What we are interested in right now is how are we going to take Africa back and truly own it and manage our affairs and do things for our people and not exploit them and go and build the other people's economies. This is where we are. And all this that they do are made possible by Africans. They can't do this without involvement of African leaders. Those are those who are quick to run every time they are asked to run. They are those who are quick to jump into the next available flight to Washington when they are asked to come, as if it is a big deal to come to Washington. There is no big deal. Or when they are asked to go to Paris, they fall over one another. Yes, it's time to decolonize our minds and firmly own Africa. This colonial mentality has hurt Africa so greatly. Yes, so terribly. Yes, Wang Conrad, how are you? Great to see you here. All right. Yeah, you listened to an hour interview that I did with Professor Paul Hader, a professor and a human and environmental activist. Great guy who puts his life on the line every day, helping homeless people. He serves them food. He takes them to the hospital. He's a great servant of the people. Yeah, he doesn't mind. He takes a lot of risk. He's on the street all the time doing things. Great friend. Yes, he was the one with whom I did that interview. I mean, that interview will remain a classic for a very long time. Yes, because of how he structured it. Yes, so and it's all about Africa. Omi Anelechuku, how are you? Great to see you here. Thank you very much. So those who joined us just now or during the time we were listening to that interview, I welcome you greatly. I welcome you. Thank you very much. And I hope you subscribe to our channel. And for our returning members, we thank you very much for your loyalty. And if you like what we are doing, you want to support our mission to expand our message to reach more people, you want to send us super thanks, please feel free to do that. If you want to join our membership, yes, it is open, a global membership, different types of membership. Do that, and then you will be opportune to have members exclusive broadcast on certain issue, and the first to see anything before they go public in some situation. Yes, so we appreciate each and every one of of you. And then please do share our message. If you like what we are doing, double tap and then share our message. Bring your friends and well-wishers, because friends and well-wishers, we are a global movement, growing global movement, and we are growing organically. Yes, we love how we are growing. We are, at the forefront of our growth. We do not purchase subscribers. That is why our number is the way it is, but we love it. We love it because every time we come here, we come to talk to real people. We have great moderators. One thing we don't like, hate speech, anything that will make any human being lesser than human. We don't tolerate it here. We don't like racism. We don't like tribalism. We don't issue threats here. Please respect one another. If you don't agree, we love those who disagree with us. But when you come with respect, because we respect you too. So thank you very much for joining. So what we are talking about is African leaders' inferiority complex. Yeah, they feel they let us down. They embarrass us when they come here or to Europe to behave like they are little kids, and they are treated like they are puppies, like they are beggars. We are not beggars. We are not beggars. We have everything that the world needs. So what we need is to be more confident. What we need, and it is our fault, it's our duty right now. We can identify these leaders who go to Europe and come here to make us feel like we are inferior people. We should never allow them to be leaders anymore of our country. We want people, a president of Nigeria, who will come to the United States and look at President Donald Trump, eyeball to eyeball, talk to him as a colleague and not as an inferior. Yes, talk to him and then articulate what you want in terms of collaboration with the United States. You should give and not always be the takers. Yes, you should give. Yes, I want to see the next generation of African leaders that will inspire tremendous growth in Africa, that will export manufacturing companies, that will export construction companies, that will come here to the United States to build roads, and not not only African allowing them to come build roads in their continent. First of all, we must be independent, be able to build our own roads. Must build our own roads, and not be bringing Chinese to build roads. When they are coming, they come with Chinese prisoners to come build roads in Africa. Our people are already having problem with unemployment. Then Chinese companies coming to build infrastructure in Africa, we import all their workers from China to Nigeria or to any part of Africa where they are. And then our people will be looking. We don't want that anymore. It's a policy stupidity that the leaders of Africa who cannot think, who are so inferior, they feel inferior before everybody. We don't want them anymore. So this is what we are talking about. All right, so join us, as we speak on this. If you are joining us right now, please subscribe to our channel. We want to grow organically. Yes. So this is the issue. And put down your statement, put down your comment, and then we can talk about it. Yes, somebody said free Palestine. Absolutely. We are on the side of freeing Palestinians. Yes. We do not want the massacre to continue. The massacre of Palestinians in the past few weeks is crying to the Almighty God. Seriously, it's too much. It is too much, way too much. No, massacre, killing children? Yes. Killing children who are going to look for food? Yes. Why? Why? And the world is keeping quiet and doing absolutely nothing. Those are human beings. Those are not animals. Those are not toys. Even here, people respect animals. People collect money on behalf of animals. People put animals in the shelter. People treat animals right. There are animals, you do something, you can go to jail for killing an animal here. But we are all watching human beings being destroyed. And we are not doing anything to stop the carnage, to stop the killing. Again, this is why we are asking that the United Nations be democratized, for real. That the United Nations be strong enough to punish any person that they wish. President Netanyahu, they issued a warrant for his arrest, yeah, a while ago. Nobody talks about it. He brushes it off as if it doesn't mean anything because he has the backing of people who do not want the United Nations to work. So when we have that, who is the United Nations working for? It's not working for me as an African. It's not working for the African people. It's definitely not working for the Palestinians. If a United Nations court rules and the order is not carried out, who is it working for? So from what we have seen, it is only African leaders so far, with the exception of Slobodan Milosevic, that have been jailed and put in jail. Charles Taylor of Liberia is in jail now. He did a heinous thing, good. But there are a lot of other people from other countries doing worse things. Netanyahu. So why is it? Where does his immunity come from? That he's destroying lives. What is the reason? Honestly, what do they want in Gaza? Seriously, what do they want in Gaza? Hey, Wang, how are you? Kosnatu, thank you very much, Kamara. It's a pleasure seeing you here. Share our message. So, in that regard, we do not respect anybody who wakes up to go kill anybody. Whether you are a Jew, you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are whatever you are. Yes, destruction of human life is a crime against humanity. It's a sin against the Almighty God. That we keep quiet while all these are happening makes us accomplices of evil. Yeah, and that is exactly what is taking place. The United Nations, where are they? The same thing, the same double standard they are playing in Africa. The same double standard they are using in Congo. A lot of people are dying in Congo. The United Nations mission that they sent there, they were busy stealing mineral resources. They were mining. Yeah, the United Nations peacekeepers got into the business of mining. So what's happening? What is happening? What is happening? And that's why we are talking about this. The world is unfair. The world appears to be not for all of us. If you ask me a question today about the composition of the United Nations, with 54 African countries as member states, the largest bloc, with nobody speaking for that continent of Africa. Is there any reason, is there any rule that says that Africa cannot have a permanent seat at the UN Security Council? Is it only that for African countries to come every September to cry and yell and cry about the horrors in their countries, how poor they are, how people are unable to feed, and then they go away and then boost the economy of New York? No. The United Nations has become a ridiculous organization that has outlived its usefulness. If ever it was ever useful. It appears that the United Nations has become a tool in the hands of a few who control the world. The world is unfair, and that's why everywhere is falling apart. So the United Nations deserve to be democratized before they speak about democracy anywhere on earth. That body, that UN is not it. It's not working. The Security Council, Permanent Security Member Councils are greedy, selfish. They don't care about the world. If they did, they would do a lot of things to prevent some of the carnages in Africa. Africa would have been better repositioned, even though we are willing to share our resources. It wouldn't be the kind of hell it is, where people will come, build airports in the forests, in the jungles, steal African raw materials, arm local Africans to continue to fight one another and destroy one another. And then you come around to come and say you write a peace treaty. They travel 10,000 miles away from Africa to come and sign peace treaty in Washington. Peace treaty that is not fair. That a country like Congo signing away as mineral resources rights, yes, it's not fair. So what do they get in return? How long are these rights going to last? What happens if they say that they don't want this to continue? These are questions we should ask. Is the world fair? Yes. Is the world fair? The world ain't fair. If the world is fair, we won't be where we are. If the world is fair, Nigeria will not be burning. And then the whole world is keeping quiet. As we speak, just as bad as Gaza is, the same thing is happening in Nigeria. Yes, by different actors. Yes, driven by religious Islamic extremism. It's happening. Millions, thousands of people, millions of people from Nigeria are in displaced people's camp. Yes, in their country. Yes, every week is a new story of a massacre, and then nobody is held accountable. I think it's time for people to start looking into Nigeria if they are serious about global peace, as we talk. Hey, John Obo, how are you? Good to see you. Yes, yes, welcome. And please subscribe to our channel. So, my problem is what use going back home to Africa. What use is the African Union? What use is the African Union that cannot build its own secretariat? What use is the African Union that cannot settle conflict internally in Africa? Why did the leadership of Congo and Rwanda have to travel 10,000 miles to come and sign a peace treaty here in the United States when we have the United African Union? So if African Union cannot settle conflicts in Africa, why do we still have it? I think that union should be disbanded and reconstituted. And all the presidents of Africa that are puppets, it's time to get rid of them, because they are not serving the interest of Africa. They are the ones that make us look like we are beggars, even though we are the richest continent on earth. They are not building capacity for our people. So men who cannot build capacity should not be leaders of Africa. And this is the reason why they must go. And this is the reason why we want more Ibrahim Traore. This is the reason why we want more Goita. This is the reason why we want more Chiani. Yes, yes, those who are sensitive and responsive, those who are humane and responsible to stand and solve the continent's problem. We don't have them in quantum. We don't have many of them yet. We need a lot more. Now, African people, you are not listening enough. The worst case is in Nigeria. Another worst case is Sierra Leone. What is taking place in Ivory Coast? Yes, where a man, an 80-year-old man, who has ruled the country for over 30 years, he wants to continue to rule. He wants to continue, he's running, he wants to be on the ballot again. The same thing, Paul Biya, a 94-year-old man. He wants to vie to be president of the country. 94-year-old who cannot even raise his hand anymore. He doesn't even know where he is. Look at what is taking place in Sudan, South Sudan, South Sudan, South Sudan. He went the other day. He was standing, he was peeing. He didn't even know. I don't know if they remember to put diaper on him. He has lost his testamentary capacity. About there, he's still standing as the president of South Sudan. Imagine him standing before President Donald Trump of the United States. What kind of conversation are they going to have, for goodness sake? What are they going to be talking about? Absolutely nothing. The other time Paul Biya was here, he was sitting on the podium, sitting right there. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know what they were talking about. Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Nigeria lost his testamentary capacity. Most times he doesn't even know where he is. And now he's running regardless of the fact that his first coming was from the back door. He didn't win an election. And you see people, able-bodied young men and women, lining behind this evil. Yes, what Africans do to themselves. Yes. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Terry McValley, thank you, thank you. Yes, we young people of Africa, we have a lot of work to do. We must not give up. We must not allow what is taking place right now to dampen our spirit. Instead, we should use it as an inspiration to effect changes in our various countries, as we walk towards the unification of Africa. Because these leaders who will jump when Imperial Europe tells them to jump, they will not be the champions. They will never be the champions of the actualization of the dreams of great men and women like Kwame Nkrumah, Emperor Haile Selassie, Abdel Nasser, Sekou Toure, Modibo Keita, Jomo Kenyatta, Kenneth Kaunda, Julius Nyerere, later Samora Machel, Nelson Mandela. Yes, yes. Robert Mugabe and Thomas Sankara. These people here, I am from Nigeria. I tell you this, the arrangement we have in Nigeria right now is the greatest obstacle to the unification of Africa. They don't even talk, none of them has this Pan-African ingredient in them. They are thieves. The same thing with the guy, Ruto in Kenya. He's a thief. He's not there to lead anybody. No, they are thieves. Paul Biya, what is he doing? He's just holding brief for France, finishing their country. And what baffles me most, the young people in these countries, what are they doing? Young people in Cameroon, what are they doing? People, the ones in Nigeria, oh no. I feel sick. I get angry. Yes, Nigeria is drowning. Nigeria is dying. The ruling political party was populated, this leadership was populated by those who are creating terrorism in Nigeria. Now they are moving, they say they are forming a coalition against the monster they have come to power. So the criminals, the terrorist mastermind, the banditry masterminds have moved en masse to a new party they call ADC. When you look at the constitution, when you look at those who make up that party, you will cry. And they're funny. My Nigerian brothers and sisters at home think that they are getting a good deal. That they want to remove the political party in power. Now, let me tell you, the APC now has become a good party. Because the criminals there have left APC, and they're moving now to ADC. En masse. Those who mastermind terrorism in Nigeria, they were all in the APC political party. And you know what? They are moving now to build a new coalition to remove APC. The APC was a coalition in 2014. They brought them together. They are responsible for the massacre that is taking place. Nigeria is a country where people will come and shoot up a whole school, kill all the children there, and the shooters will go scot-free. Nobody is arrested. No prosecution is even done. Nothing, no investigation. It is to your tent, O Israel in Nigeria. And it's sad. The only way is to fast-track the unification of Africa. European imperial forces don't want that. But if we agree that that is what we want, if a new generation agrees that that's what they want, regardless of who is the leader, If we come together to say that's what we want, it can be done. And that is why it is important that the young people should tilt towards Ibrahim Traore in their numbers. And we got to build that network to make it happen. It is painful to see Africa the way it is. It is painful to see that the worst lead Africa, especially Nigeria. It is so painful to see that criminals have hijacked Nigeria for the most part. Criminals, pure criminals, have hijacked Nigeria at all levels and in all sectors, including strategic national institutions like the armed forces. The armed forces of Nigeria is gone. Those occupying positions in the Nigerian armed forces, they're only good at making statements. They are announcers. They are not soldiers. They don't have the fighting ingredients. Yes, they are making deals. Terrorism is a business for them. They are involved in heavy armed deals. They are not fighting. Yes, the poor ones there who are fighting, they send them and lead them into ambushes. Our young military officers are dying. Yes, every day. How long will that continue? Because of the tragedy of leadership that we have. It is time, Africa. It is time, Africans. It is time the younger generation of Africans must do what they must do. Yes, whatever country you are, you must do something. Now, what are we seeing every day? In the past few weeks, it has been Nigerians and Ghanaians. The past few weeks, it has been Nigerians in South Africa coming under attack. Yes, why are they coming under attack? Because of the same thing, tragedy of leadership. And the one in Ghana is scary. They are not even talking about Nigerians, they are talking about Igbos. Yes, the same thing that is happening in Nigeria. So how did it come down to Ghanaians in Nigeria, in Ghana, talking about Igbos? No longer, they are not talking about Nigeria. There is something is not right, and it's very dangerous. And this is why we must stand up and do something now, because it's getting dangerous. The imperial forces, this is what they like. They want a hell out of Africa. Because when they achieve the hell, we will never be able to come together to recognize the common enemies and fight back. We are in a deep trouble. It is only we who can solve it. Listen to me, young Africans. Listen to me, young Africans. We are all victims of 5 terrible things. Our ancestors were stolen. All right? Stole millions of our ancestors, scattered them in Europe, America, and everywhere. There's nowhere on earth that you don't find black people who got there by one crazy reason or the other. Yes, it is time. Let us start asking ourselves questions. Look at the president of your country. What quality is he? Look at your country's National Assembly. Are they good, doing a good job? Are they making the right laws that protect the citizens? Are they making laws that will give access to opportunity to the citizens to grow and develop and progress and prosper? Are they amassing wealth? Yes, the people's wealth. Are the legislators richer than the country? Are they living a life of criminal opulence? Why the majority are hungry like they are in Nigeria? Something is not right. All right, my brother, say keep on your good work. And you do know we need give no. How for every nation of Africa? Absolutely. Absolutely. I am for one Africa. That is what our founding fathers wanted, because they were visionaries. They saw today, about 80, 70 years ago. They saw all that is taking place. And that was why Kwame Nkrumah led the group that wanted Africa to transform into a country. But the other group wanted to wait. I don't know what they were waiting for. Their wait is what led us where we are right now. Are we going to continue to wait? How long are we going to wait? The problem is that we don't even have the platform to want to unite Africa. Our African Union is not it. Our African Union is run by criminals. Our African Union is run by those who don't even know what Africa means and the need for Africa to improve. Our African Union is led by deal makers. Those who want to make money and get rich at the expense of their countries. They can't take us anywhere. An African Union that has a Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not take Africa anywhere. An African Union that has Paul Biya will not take Africa anywhere. The African Union that has William Ruto is not going to take Africa anywhere. An African Union that has Silva Care in South Sudan ain't taking Africa anywhere. Yes, we need a new African Union, driven by die-hard African patriots with abilities, competency, yes, courage to do great things, knowledge, and exceptional content and strength of character to grow, to inspire growth in Africa. Yes, and that's all we need. Yes. Thank you, Jane, for the great job. Thank you, Jane. We appreciate you. Yes, African unity is now, not tomorrow. It is now. It is now. It is now. We are tired of having puppets lead our countries. We are tired of having slaves lead our countries. We are tired of letting people who don't know what it takes to be an African lead our countries. We are tired of terrorists being in charge of our countries. We are tired of having bandits leading our countries. We are tired of having drug dealers like Bola Ahmed Tinubu leading our countries. We are tired of thieves, yes, thieves leading our countries. This is a moment for the African people. Yes, if you are a Pan-African, listen to me. Yes, Pan-African for oneness, absolutely. Yes. Vic Sampson, thank you very much. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Yes. So please, my brothers and sisters who are from Africa, lovers of Africa, please talk to one Africa, talk to another, share our message. Let us come to this understanding that the moment is right and the moment is now, not tomorrow. We cannot continue to pass the buck. We are not going to push this trouble to the next generation, because our ancestors will not forgive us. The Almighty God will not forgive us. We have died enough from diseases. We have died enough from the hell of war. It is time to take hold of our continent. It's time for us to stop hating one another. Because the reason we are hating one another, our reason for hating one another is engineered. Yes, we are engineered. Christopher Campbell said, he said, until Africa gets its act together, black people everywhere, we never get respect. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And this is the reason why, now, let me reiterate, I'm inviting all of you on August 17th, 2025. I repeat, August 17th, 2025. We are going to be marking the 138th birthday of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the father of modern Africa. Yes, I hope you will be there. Marcus Mosiah Garvey will be marking his birthday anniversary, 138 years. Yes, birthday. Yes. All right, on that August 17th, I hope all of you will join, all Pan-Africans. And we are going to have speakers, from the United States. Americans who were born here will be speaking about bridging the gap between us born in Africa and they who were born here. We need to put our acts together, just like Christopher said. If we don't do it now, we will continue to suffer. The time is right. Yes, Marcus Garvey started a great job. We have to finish the job. Kwame Nkrumah and the other rest, they took it to another level. Yes, Emperor Haile Selassie, Bob Marley sang it, and he left an eternal message that will always refer to Africa unite. Because we're moving right out of Babylon, and we're going into our father's land. Children, how good and how pleasant it could be before God and man to see the unification of all Africans. Now that is said already, let it be done. Yeah, it's only you and I who are living that must do it. Are we willing to do it? Are we willing to do our part? You remember the story of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He was born in Jamaica on 17th of August 1887. Yes, that was when he was born. Yes. He started organizing at a very young age. He started asking a lot of questions. Why are we here? Why are we here? He made a connection with Africa, spiritual connection, and he never rested. He started organizing. He moved to the United States, raised a 6 million strong black man movement that started advancing the cause of the colored people. And this got the inspiration, this inspiration, arrested a generation of African leaders who started and fought for the decolonization of our continent. But what are you and I doing? And these people who did these lofty things, these great things, they did not have WhatsApp. They did not have YouTube. They did not have Facebook. They did not have TikTok. They did not have Instagram. They did not have nothing. All they had was the inspiration. They were looking for information. They would travel miles to get the information that they need. Yes, a lot of sacrifices were made. Some walked by foot to get to Marcus Garvey to hear him speak. Yes, because the system was following him too. You remember how they jailed him here? They framed him here for mail fraud and put him in jail because he was becoming too much of a handful. Yes, he paid all those prices. So what are you and I doing in our generation where we have all the luxury? What are we doing with our smartphone? What are we doing with our WhatsApp? What are we doing with our Instagram? What are we doing with our YouTube? What are we doing our TikTok? What are we doing with Facebook? What are we doing with everything that we have access? Are we a lazy generation? Yes. This is why we should ask ourselves this question. This job, is it for some people or is it for all? What are you doing? What contribution are you making on your own? Are you going to wake up? Yes. I am chatting from the birthplace of Emperor Haile Selassie. I'm proud to thank you. Jah Rastafari. Emperor Haile Selassie was a great man, great man, great man, great man. All right. Christopher Campbell says Chinese and Indians get respect because their countries are seen as strong, so that glow shines on all their peoples. Yes, wherever they are, Africa for Africans. Yes, it's going to be you and I. Yes, it's going to be you and I that can make it. We have to start with ourselves. Bob Marley said, are you satisfied with the life you are living? We know where we are going. We know where we are from. We live in Babylon. We go into our father's land. It is Exodus. Exodus movement of the people. Yes. Where are we going? All right. Our founding fathers founded. Yes. Okay. All right. Yes. We must find a destination. They already set the agenda for us. What are we doing? What are we doing? They set the agenda for us. What are we doing? Are we going to wake up and do our own part? Yes, so we can leave a continent better for the next generation. Yes. What are we doing? What are you doing in Ethiopia? What are you doing in Nigeria? What are you doing in Liberia? What are you doing in Gambia? What are you doing in Zambia? What are you doing in Kenya? What are you doing in Uganda? What are you doing in wherever? Ghana? Yes, Ivory Coast. Yes, Burkina Faso. Yes, Niger, Chad, Senegal. What are you doing? It's time to wake up. Remember, nobody is going to do it for us. Nobody is going to do it for us. But those who offer us help, they never give you anything for free. Those aids is your aid, things that they took from you. They are giving you part of it, and they are taking more. We have to develop a system that can build capacity for us. We have to eschew greed, hate, mischief, jealousy, and bigotry. We have to love one another. We have to conquer hate in Africa. We have to defeat ignorance head on. What is the difference between you from Nigeria and another person in Ethiopia? What is the difference between you from Ghana and someone in Senegal? Yes, it is time. It is time. It is time. Yes. How can a continent, one continent that has been enslaved, they took our people in quantum, just not just the only type of one, two types of slavery. Yes, and even more, Arab slavery lasted for 700 years. The Arabs enslaved Africans for 700 years. 700 years. 700 years. The Arabs enslaved Africans. 700 years. And you know, during those 700 years, all the male slaves from Africa were castrated. You know what the meaning of castration means? They will cut you open and remove your testicles. 700 years of castrating African slaves. 700 years. And do you know how many millions of slaves? So if 700 years is a lot, yes, that they are taking millions. Why did they castrate them? Because they didn't want them to pollute their Arab culture. They didn't want them to populate their Arab women. Yes. You see what I'm saying? They castrated them. And then what did they do after? They gave us Islam, right? They gave us their religion, right? Your oppressor gave you his religion. And then we are fighting one another over religion. They turned our continent into a battleground. Yes, battleground for their civilization. I am not telling you not to be a religious person, but I'm just trying to teach you, to instigate you, inspire you to start thinking. Yes, the same thing, 700 years of Arab slavery. When that was over, the Europeans came and enslaved our people for 400 years. They created them like dogs across the Atlantic, from all over Africa, especially the west of Africa. Yes, they built gates of no return. Yeah, we still have some in Ghana. We have one in Senegal. I think there's one in Badagry in Nigeria. Yes, gates of no return. Yes, they did that to us. And you know how many people they took? They took over 40 million Africans from Africa. And you know how many people died in the Atlantic? The ones that they threw for the sharks to feed in the Atlantic. And they came here. What did they end up? They became subjugated, and then they were bastardized mentally and all. But you know, the African spirit is strong. The African body is strong. But the African mind was destroyed. And that is what we must recalibrate. We must recalibrate the African mind. That was why Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he was the first to say it. And then Bob Marley put it in song. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy. 'Cause none of that can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing another song of freedom? Yes, all I ever heard. Redemption song. Redemption song. Oh, pirates, yeah, the rabbi. So that to the merchant ship. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong by the hands of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing another song of freedom? Yes, all I ever have. Redemption song, yeah. Redemption song. All right, people, the people of Africa. Much love to you and all those who joined us. It's been such a great pleasure being with you. Especially we thank our new visitors, the first-time visitors to our channel. We love you, and I hope that you subscribe before you leave, and then do come back again. We love our returning subscribers and our members. Join our membership. Support our mission by sending us super thanks to help us carry our message forward. Much love, and I see you in our next stream. Much love, and take care. Bye for now. Have a great week. Bye-bye. I'm loving you guys. Okay, in Moses Bubba, he said, I'm listening from a small plantation named Trinidad and Tobago. All right, Rastafari. Thank you, brother. All right, my brother, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you again. Look forward to seeing you, and I love each and every one of you. God bless you. Good night.